Good night, guys, and welcome to a short segment of compensation in light of multinational corporations, presented by yours truly, Kidrin Pear. When we talk about compensation, it is increasingly seen as a mechanism to develop and reinforce a global corporate culture, a primary source of corporate culture, and explicitly linking performance outcomes with associated costs. Compensation is an integral part of human resource management. This helps in motivating employees and improving organizational effectiveness. Now, no employee wants to work for an employer without gaining benefits. Now, there's something called a carrot stick approach, where employees do the work, whether or not they like it or not, they do the work because they know at the end they're going to receive a reward. What is international compensation? International compensation refers to all forms of financial returns and tangible benefits that employees of an international organization receive from their employer in exchange for providing their labor and commitment. The main objectives for a multinational firm in terms of compensation policies. Every multinational needs their policy to be consistent with their overall strategy, business needs, and structure. Now, no policy must be made that doesn't match the needs and structure of the business. If that is done, then it doesn't make any sense. This policy must also work to keep the staff interested in areas where the multinational has the bulk of needs and opportunities. No employee who wants to work and they are not motivated. Yes, you may say that there are some employees who are self-motivated, but there are other employees who are not self-motivated. So the policy can act as a motivational factor for the employees to do their work. It must facilitate the transfer of international employees in a manner that is cost-effective to the firm. All multinational companies must know exactly how to cut costs and how to deal with their expenses. And lastly, ease of administration and equity are two of the factors that this policy must give deliberation to. Now, here's an employee asking, so what about my objectives as an employee? This policy must offer financial protection to the following: benefits, social security, and living costs in foreign countries. As an expat, the employee needs to know that they are financially covered within a foreign country. Secondly, the policy must offer financial advancement through income and savings. And lastly, this policy must include housing, education, and recreation for children. There are some employees who do not travel abroad for work without walking with their children. And one of the ways of ensuring or securing that this employee is fully into being an expat is showcasing to them that you have their kids' or children's best interests at heart. Objectives on which most of the expatriate compensations plan are designed: attract employees who are qualified and interested in international assignments. When this is done, this is done so that the compensation policy works to attract and retain staff in areas of great need and opportunity. Excuse me. facilitate the movement of expatriates from one subsidiary to another, from home to subsidiaries, and from subsidiaries back home. Provide a consistent and reasonable relationship between the pay levels of employees at headquarters, domestic affiliates, and foreign subsidiaries. This policy must be made cost-effective by reducing unnecessary expenses. As I said before, all multinational firms must know how to control their costs. Not because you want an expat to go into another country means that everything that you think they would need, all the benefits, that every little knick-knack you should give to them. You have to take into consideration if the business can support it, that is financially, and if it is really necessary. This is a picture of an iceberg. Two approaches to international compensation: the going rate approach. This is based on local markets. In this approach, the compensation is based on the selected survey comparison, the base pay and benefits. On the selected survey comparison. The base pay and benefits may be supplemented by additional payments for low-pay countries. The balance sheet approach is a system designed to equalize the purchasing power of employees at comparable position levels living abroad and in the home country, and to provide incentives to offset qualitative differences between assignment locations. The main differences between these two approaches. The going rate approach. It is based on local market rates. Its compensation is based on the selected survey comparison. Base pay and benefits may be supplemented by additional payments for low-pay countries, and it relies heavily on survey comparisons such as expatriates of all nationality. The balance sheet approach. It deals with the maintenance of home country living standard. It is the most used approach in multinational firms, and its financial incentives are added to make the package more attractive. Another icebreaker. Two advantages and disadvantages of the going rate approach. The advantages are identification with host country and simplicity. The disadvantages are potential re-entry problems, variation between assignments for same employees. Balance sheet approach, advantages and disadvantages. The advantages: it facilitates expatriates re-entry and easy to communicate to employees. Disadvantages: can be quite complex to administer and can result in great disparities between expatriates and local nationals. The key differences between parent country nationals and third country nationals. The nature of their business. This relates to that one employee is coming. They are actually from, so John is from Germany, and John is a German employer within a German company in a foreign country. But Peter is a German citizen working for a Chinese company within a Texas company. The kind and level of knowledge and skills, size of the business, capital versus labor intensity. Do these differences matter? Of course they do, because all employees come from a different background, meaning that some come from Christians and others come from TCS. So their knowledge, the way in which they go about dealing with cross-cultural differences, the way in which they deal with compensation would be different. The main points MNEs must consider when deciding how to provide benefits. They are to make sure that their benefit package or benefit strategies align with their business objectives. They are also to aim for global consistency with local relevance, and they are to ensure that security is provided for each employee. The importance for MNEs to understand the compensation practices of other countries. Now, having knowledge is a very, very important thing. Now, some companies train their employees, their expats, before sending them out. So whoever is in charge of this training must be familiar with the compensation practices within the different countries so that their knowledge can be passed on. Another reason is to ensure the smooth running of business within the foreign country. And lastly, having such information can prevent the business from running into high-risk problems. Another icebreaker. Abraham Lincoln says, "This is a world of compensation, and he who would be no slave must consent to have no slave. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under a just God cannot long retain it." These are the references for this short PowerPoint.